first looks at this machine, I'm actually pretty impressed. It looks a lot nicer than I actually thought. So when I went to Ritchie Brothers, I did not even actually look at this machine at all. I just kind of seen it pop up and bid on it. It does look like we have some kind of fuel leak or something, because this is new here. It's also splashing on the tire there, and you see some right there. So I don't know if that's fuel or what. So I'm guessing the emergency stop buttons don't work. Good thing the key works though, so we'll have to get that looked at.
Stop button wasn't working over there?
No, so I'm guessing it don't work up here. I'll have to get that figured out.
This one is physically damaged.
Alright, let's see if I remember how to operate this thing. We got our glow plugs here. I think it's already warm. There we go. And we are moving. Oh, you're loving it, huh? Hey guys, welcome back. So this is a 2005 Genie S-40 boom lift. I just picked this up from the Ritchie Brothers auction. I paid $10,000, but then once they add on their auction fee of $1,000, which is 10%, then $770 in taxes and $725 to get it shipped about 70 miles. Now it does have some dings and some paint, you know, scuffs and hits here and there, but for the most part the machine looks pretty good. However, it does have some issues, and we'll get to those later. One of the issues is the hour meter. Now I believe this hour meter does work, and it is the correct hours, which says 5,567. but the glass is broke on it. One other issue, these start-stop buttons are completely destroyed, and you have to turn it off with the key. So basically you have to get out of the lift and cut it off. So one awesome thing about this machine is it does come with a full tank of diesel. The thing is almost right up to the top. I don't know if you can see down in there or not, but I checked it and it does have a pretty good bit in it. The rest of the machine looks decent. I do believe we have a fuel leak. The hydraulic level looks great and the fluid looks really well. So this machine comes equipped with a Deutz 49 horsepower diesel engine. These engines are pretty reliable and are very simple. As you can see, there is no radiator. It does have this oil cooler. Yeah, they're actually very simple, so I guess that's what kind of makes them reliable. This thing was worked on in the past, you can see, and there is a lot of what looks like diesel fuel residue all over this engine. So these fuel filters say 5,502 hours, which tells me it was serviced pretty recently, about 65 hours ago, somewhere around those lines. We'll go ahead and check the oil again. I did check it when we first got here, and the oil looks really clean. So I usually go ahead and change all the fluids on a machine when I first buy it. So this bar here looks like our throttle lever solenoid, which was replaced at 4,608 hours. So pretty much almost a year or so ago. It is pretty loose, so we'll go ahead and get that tightened up. This is our fuel shutoff solenoid. You can see some of the wire is bare, so we'll probably check into that. Go ahead and pull this air cleaner. I'm sure it looks fine, but yes, it was just serviced and replaced. That looks beautiful. So this thing does look like it took some slight hits. This is one of them here. Get that all welded back. One other issue, this bar right here that holds all your hydraulic lines, looks like it's got bent in. I would like to fix that. See, one of the wires is separated there. Another issue right here, you can see this kind of hydraulic line is rubbing right here on this corner, so we'll pull this loose and get all that fixed. But before we go ahead and start working on this thing, let's go ahead and give it a bath and get all this diesel fuel cleaned off of it. How about the back side of that plate is full of diesel fuel residue. Yeah, looks like we got a lot of diesel residue around that. right, it is the next day and this thing is a whole lot cleaner. It's not perfect, but definitely cleaner than what it was. However, it did show up a few issues when this bushing has popped out. And I was wondering, there's not any grease zerks on any of the pivot points, and it looks like they're using some kind of either metal or Teflon or plastic type bushing. It does seem to work pretty good because all the stuff is solid and there's no play on anything. So it looks like our fuel leak has shown itself a lot more. I haven't even ran this machine and there's fuel leaking everywhere still, and it is coming from, it looks like, these two injectors. So we'll have to see what's going on. It's even dripped all the way down onto the frame here already, and that hasn't even been running. So one of the best things that I've found for catching oil is I just take these puppy pee pads. They're super cheap, and I just and they have this plastic liner on the back. Stick them up under whatever you got dripping oil or whatnot, and they work. They work very well for keeping oil from dripping all over your concrete floor or whatever. So we got a little broken piece of O-ring there. So I think that is our culprit. Do the spring. That one wasn't as tight as the first one. Yeah, that O-ring is shot. Look at that thing. So that's our issue right there. Wow, that seal just broke. These things are extremely brittle. Alright, I think I found some O-rings that are going to work. Let's give these a try. A little dab of oil on them. The best stuff to use on these O-ring seals is like Seal Glide, something like that, but we don't have any right now, so we'll just use oil. So I'm just going to put a very small film of grease on this little washer thing. Hopefully that will keep it set inside there. Yeah, I think that's good. Seems like the O-ring's going in pretty smoothly so far. Go and get this line put back on. And we'll do the same thing with the second one here. Good. Fuel on. What is this? Is that a key? Oh wow. What I just found in there. Like a spare Genie key. Guess the pressure washing kind of revealed some treasures. Looks like somebody just dropped the key down there. Because yeah, that's the original key. Let's see if it fits. I mean, it works. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Alright, looks like in all our fun of finding that key, we had our fuel drain in here. Get that tightened up. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, I'm not seeing any leaks, so I believe that problem is fixed. Alright, let's go ahead and get these filters changed, and these fluids. I can see a little bit of sediment and stuff in there. Not too bad though. Get our new seal installed here. Let's go ahead and bleed the system. I'll go ahead and just open up this bottom valve. And we'll go ahead and cut the fuel back on. Close it up. So I guess I'll go ahead and change out this filter as well. Got a Kubota filter here. Get this oil changed. Goodness, that thing is tight. Man, let's see if I can get it with the impact. There we go. Oil doesn't look bad. Actually, it looks pretty good. So this old girl deserves only the best. Got the Rotella T5. I got a K&N filter. I usually don't like K&N, but that's all my part store had at the moment. They are built pretty good. Oil filters seem fine. I just don't really like their air filters. I really just think K&N air filters, I think they let too much dirt in the engine. You are supposed to keep them oiled, but still not a big fan of them. Alright, right on the money. Alright, so a lot of these wires are in pretty bad shape. You can see right here, it's like completely broken, as well as right here. So let's go ahead and get these fixed up. Yeah, you can see like all these wires on this plug are just falling apart. So it looks like this is either your oil pressure sensor. It might be an oil temp sensor as well, but so this wire it looks like it was touching this wire, which is your fuel shutoff solenoid wire. So let's see if we can take this plug apart. Seems like it's just kind of falling apart. So I think what I'm gonna do is just basically cut all these wires and extend them. I was gonna pull these out and redo each one with the plugs, but to pull these out I would basically have to break this connector, and I don't have another 10-pin connector, so we'll just do them one by one here. I mean, all this insulation is just falling off. Go ahead and get this wire off the alternator here. We'll remake this wire. Alright, so I got a very small cap full of muriatic acid, and I'm going to dip these copper wires in it, and hopefully that will get them kind of cleaned up, so I'll have a nice soldering bond. You can see already it really brightens the copper up. You can see now that the solder really flows in the wire now. Before, with all the oil and stuff on it, it probably would have never even took solder. So using muriatic acid really helps. You just got to be careful when using it. that is fixed. Alrighty, got the wires all cleaned up, so they're out of the way of the oil filler. So these Deutz engines they're air-cooled engines, so they have basically a belt. There's also a timing belt in here too, but there's a fan accessory belt that goes around the fan here, which blows air over the engine. So let's go ahead and take this cover off and just kind of check the condition of that fan. And if we're able to check this timing belt, let's go ahead and check that as well. These engine trays actually slide out. You can see there's sliders right here and on the other side. So this whole thing should slide out. I think you just have to disconnect this boot. And there's a bolt right here. I believe there's another bolt right here that you have to take out. And this thing should slide all the way out. Peek in here. Oh, that belt looks pretty much like new. I'm sure this engine was fleet serviced or fleet maintained, so all that looks good. These engines are pretty simple to work on, it seems like. Oh yeah, there's our timing belt, and it looks really good. Alright, we'll just put all that back together then. I am really impressed at how simple these engines are and how easy they are to work on. So some of these machines come equipped from the factory with a big generator somewhere around here. I think it's a hydraulic generator, and that basically sends power to your basket. I actually looked at a machine. It was a S-40, and it had a hydraulic generator on it, and it sold for around the same price as this, but it did have around 10,000 hours. Had the same engine as well. So my machine does not come with a generator, so you basically have to plug it in right here to like an extension cord, and there is a wire that runs up to the basket here and into this outlet. However, I would really like to not have to plug it in for power. I'd like to be able to just drive this thing around and have power anywhere I go. And so I've had this electric generator sitting around in my shed for who knows how long, and I think this would be a perfect use for it. So this is a REDI-LINE electric generator. It is a 2400 watt peak and 1600 watt continuous power generator. I got this thing for free, and I looked them up. These things are like $3,500 brand new. So here is some of the details on it. So these are a power by demand generator. So you can basically have this thing hooked up to the battery, and it will not use power until you call for it. So it won't run your battery dead like an inverter or something like that would. So whenever you, like say if you're using a circular saw, it will only, whenever you hit the trigger on the circular saw, that's when it will tell this thing to power on. And usually these are used in like ambulances or service vehicles, so I think it would be perfect for this boom lift. Okay, so I'm going to be hooking this generator up to 12 volts. And for that to work, basically I have to take jumper wires and go from like your negative to your negative, positive to positive, and then from here you go to your battery. So I'll make some jumpers like this. Only problem is I only have one of these going in here, so I'll show you guys how to make some yourself just by taking a piece of copper. I think this is 3/8. So we got our piece, just confirm that it fits in there. So we just get that flat like that. And if you have a punching die, you could just punch that real quick, but I'm gonna go ahead and solder these in. And once you got that, and you can take it to the grinder and kind of grind all that excess crap off. And there you go. Get you a nice little copper fitting. So the easiest way I found to do this step is just take a big chunk of solder here. Pretty much as much as you can kind of fit in there. A little bit more in there. Like that. Have your wire ready. Just kind of heat the fitting up. Just let it all melt down in there. Just heat that solder up until it's molten. Stick the wire down in there. That way you're not melting all your insulation. Alright, and that right there is a completed fitting. I really stripped off too much insulation, but I'll put some heat shrink on that. It's got a good seal on there now. Now this would probably be a good spot for it right here. However, this is probably like a 2.5 inch plate. They say you can mount this thing upside down, vertical, in any direction. So I'm thinking right here, I can build the plate and just mount it right here. And then the hood up here should still cover it. Down. So I just wanted to get some movement in this so I can get some bolts behind this. So right now if I kind of bend this out, I can get the bolts in now. Just get that kind of temporarily set there. I'm just going to put some of these little rubber isolator washers. Maybe they'll help a little bit with the vibration. Alright, let's get it hooked up to the battery here. Alrighty, we should be all hooked up. I'll just straighten the wires out a little bit, but we should be all hooked up. Let's go ahead and just give it a test. Alright, let's just give this thing a test before we hook it up to the basket. So I got this Milwaukee portaband here. Let's plug it in, see if we get power. There we go. Oh, that's gonna be awesome. Here's this thing cutting on and off. Let's do it again here. You can see when I cut this on. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty awesome. So now I just gotta make a cable. So now I just gotta make a wire going to that plug, or unhooking that plug where it's at and just routing it over here. But this is gonna be awesome to have power inside the basket now. Oh yeah. And like I said, this thing only calls for power when you hit the trigger. So just leaving it hooked up like this is not going to run the battery dead. Alright, so let's just go ahead and close the hood and just make sure nothing is going to hit or is going to be in the way. Oh yeah, perfect. We got plenty of room. Alright, sweet. So guys, I am still waiting on some parts to come in to finish this thing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end this video here, and we'll go ahead and make a part 2. In part 2, we're going to go ahead and get everything put back together. We'll get the generator hooked up to the boom here. We'll go ahead and fix some of the bent panels and get some of the switches replaced that are broken. And I've also been thinking about painting this. I did go ahead and pick up some Genie gray and blue for it. So please leave a comment if you would like to see me paint this thing or not. I mean, the paint is in actually decent shape. I don't know if I should leave it like it is or give it a paint job. But until then, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and working on this piece of equipment. And I will see you guys in the next video. So y'all take care. Later.